Welcome to Souq Business Landscape. Here we talk about headlines and take a look at the ones across the continent from place to place, city to city, country to country, which make up the global village where we are all citizens of. My name is Ikenna Mba. So to help shed some light on business headlines from around the world is Dr. Idahosa Osamaze. Doc, welcome to SBL.
Ikenna, good morning. Pleasure to be here with you.
Awesome. Also with me is the man, Chooks John Rogers. These are both my anti-usualist analysts. Hello, Chooks.
Good morning, Ikenna. It's nice and my pleasure to be here this morning.
Awesome. So we just jump right to it. Financial Times this morning, first headline, has South Korea lost its economic mojo? Now, it's their big read, tucked away on page 15. And they ask this question, have they lost their mojo? We're looking at things that have happened in South Korea that has to do with their businesses because things are dwindling. Doc, what do you know about Asia and South Korea doing business as usual?
Well, you see the global race to wealth is huge and high. Some are winning, some are losing. And that certainly is so because if you look at the landscape as it is today, some people had gotten to their height and then they are plateaued. And in some cases, some people are dwindling. And that, of course, is the story around Asia. And all of what is where things put in place to ensure that we manage populations and the rest of it, and you are finding aging populations. Competition is coming from other new lands, and then, of course, is a whole hell for business in Asia as we speak.
It's so sad that more businesses, as we'll see as we go on, more businesses are doing really badly, but we'll get to it. Next headline, Singapore calms banks. This comes amidst officials from their financial hub giving their banks top-level briefings in order to reassure them that the state's stability is in place. Now, why do they have to reassure about state stability? Why does the state need reassurance?
Look at it from where the whole issues are. Take Singapore.
Yes.
And you put them side by side with, for example, Japan and the rest of it. See what is happening in Japan's banks. Interest is at minus. You know what that means for the banks? So the banks is so stressed as we speak. Now, if you look at that trend moving around in Asia, you see the domestic issues in China. It will just be nice that you have to reassure your people that, look, we are not as bad as these other persons. I think that is what it is. And Singapore is also tending to encourage its bankers to become and not to see themselves at where the other Asian nations may have plunged themselves into as a result of the global meltdown.
And also, if you notice, the Asian countries, majorly China, Singapore, and some other part of them, they are production focused. And in their recent policies, the government is saying, give to production companies. We will give you some money, but give to production companies. And so what do? They reduce the amount banks hold, unlike what used to be before. They've reduced it drastically. And they're also going to tell banks, don't worry. We as a nation, we won't hold you liable if you go way beyond what it used to be. Because they are production focused.
So not like getting concessions.
Of course, it's not like some other part of the world, Africa to be specific, where the banks are making profit and the industries are making losses.
Wow. Okay, we're on to Business Day next. The main story says Naira gains put Lekki Port receives largest container ship on the Nigerian waters. This is on their page 2. What do you think about that? The largest.
Oh yes, of course. We're beginning to see the dividends of long-term thinking and planning. The Lekki DC port was well conceived by the Lagos State government and in collaboration with federal government, and that has been executed on that free trade zone. What that means is a big business for for Lagos and all the business people in Lagos, we cannot but appreciate the vision setter himself who thought about this some years ago to see how we can have a port side by side Apapa and Tinkan, where of course you can have big vessels come to bed. It's a dream come true, and I think this is big business for Lagos State.
It is.
It costs less bringing in a bigger ship, if possible.
Really?
Yeah, it costs less bringing in a mother ship than bringing in 2-3 ships. So what one will carry, 4 or 5 of them will carry. So it's better for the shipping line, it's better for logistics. Then like Doctor said, for every person, I'm speaking to Africans right now, for every African business, this is the time to start taking advantage of the Lekki deep sea port. African businessmen, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but
don't wait.
Don't you see many states also taking advantage of having, because there are all deep sea area in Nigeria.
Correct.
So why can't people just borrow and live? But this is business.
This is not just business, this is big business. So please, Africans, don't wait. Every other country, I shock you, if you go to Lekki Deep Sea Port, if you take tap market register, you see almost every nation represented there. So if they see goodness, if they see profit, we should see it first. Then also other states, please, if Lagos can do it, you can do it.
Anybody can do it.
You're making more money from federal allocation than Lagos. So if Lagos can do it, you can do it too.
So let's gather together and do what the needful is. So we're on to Gulf News. Gulf News is a Qatar-based publication. Here they say measures approved to mitigate impact of severe weather in Dubai. Now, this brings us to this. For the past few days, there's been that really flooded. I think it had to do with 1, 2, 3 cities, and the place was so flooded. Even Lagos, when Lagos and VI used to be flooded, it wasn't this bad. SUVs were swallowed up. What could be the cause of this? Because it seems like it's the first time it's happening in Dubai.
Yeah, I think it's also it's not the first time. There are always flooding in Dubai, but
In Dubai?
it's not as
Serious as
massive as this that was seen. And of course, this again may be resulting from the way humans are tampered with their ecosystem. You know, there's so much construction, so much buildings, high rises everywhere. All the natural arteries for water to flow had been converted to development programs and the rest of it. So, and of course, they've been lucky because they hardly do have rain. In the UAE for a year, 2 years, 3 years, they will not see rain. And they have to seed rain to just wet the ground. But now the rain came, and then, of course, there's no access point. This is a very big challenge in the UAE. But I know that they will rise to the occasion.
You know, I was going to even ask, sometimes we can't really explain these floods when they happen. Because we try to explain, sometimes it might not have been due to things people have done to cause that. Perhaps it's something from...
No. You see, the way nature had made us, nature made us in such a way that a lot is put in place to ensure stability in your ecosystem. You get it? Now, when you are developing, what you do is that you block those natural arteries that are created by nature. You see, one of the issues that people don't really know about Dubai was that Dubai is sandy, not because it was really desert. It was water dried up. It used to be a huge river, but completely dried up. So you understand what that is. And so you are built on top of all those areas. So, because you've not seen plenty rains, now you have rain. Where would the rain pass? Road construction, under, above, and super above. So I think this is the real issue. So it's human development that's actually responsible for most of the flooding issues that you see. Yeah.
Then also we are witnessing a bit of climate change. Things that are strange will start happening. We'll get to see them because of our activities, human activities. The amount at which, just like Dr. said, we've tampered with the environment. That's what we're seeing. And I hope, you know, that particular region is not one that is blessed with forest. So where you say that, okay, this particular...
So is that an advantage?
Well, it depends on how you see it. It depends on how you see it. And for those in Dubai, our hearts are with you. The beautiful thing is that they have a very functioning system. As of 2 days ago, you were shocked at the rate at which they cleared the flood, apart from those that sank or the ground took them off by themselves. They are very proactive, and they are working towards making sure that no matter what amount of rain comes in or hail, they can deal with it, unlike some other places where you'll be looking for foreign aid.
So Africa or Nigeria, I'll take a cue from this, deal with it ASAP. So we're on to another headline, still on the same front page. Rain, hail to continue in Riyadh. Riyadh, why? Is it that they're catching the buzz from Dubai, or does it have to do with the climate in that region? Because we're talking about hailstorm now, not just, and this will most likely bring flood. What do you think that could be?
Yeah, it's also good for us to see the way people are proactive in terms of looking at the environment and try to see how to get people prepared. You see, this is not just a news, but it's a warning and a preparedness, and I can tell you what effort is being put on ground to see that this does not take enough human lives and then, of course, destroy valuable property. And this is where proactivity is needed by nation. And that's what we're not doing well. You see, when you have this prediction from a meteorological unit of the state, governments start to take active steps to see how to ensure that people are warned, and then, of course, there are no severe casualties when this happens. And I think if you see, it is a warning, and the Riyadh authorities will be working hard to ensure that adequate measures are put in place. First aid facilities everywhere and station and position, so that in case there are casualties, you will see the rapidity in which, of course, they will be able to deal with the issues.
So let's move on to Financial Express. Front page, Apple may employ 500,000 people in India in 3 years. This is looking at Apple's increasing production as a 5-fold increase is expected in their revenue. Why India? And you know, when you hear Apple, you look at Apple, what comes to mind is North America, you know, the big Apple. But now we're talking about India, that 500,000 people been employed. What's the catch?
The catch is everything. The question should be, why not India? If you see...
Don't tell me it's the people. Don't tell me it's the population.
Of course, yes. Of course, it's now. Look. If you break it down, now, consumers in the US, Apple has more like saturated that market. So what does that market do? All what they do is they upgrade. They upgrade. Okay, a new version is out. US market to upgrade. North American market to upgrade. All of them, they will upgrade. Now they are looking for new people to log into Apple systems. So where are they going to? They go to a market where they don't control. They go to a market where they have cheaper labor than the US, where they have cheaper competitors than China. Mind you, they also have factories in China.
I was just going to say, why not China?
Because that is where they want to play.
Yeah, but you also see, if you take, for example, and this is where, for me, most states in Africa who go cap in hand, moving from country to country and begging for foreign direct investment, will need to learn a lot from. What has happened in India in the last 8 years is the fact that India is not just energy sufficient, self-sufficient. India is even also exporting energy to other nations, which is, of course, the precondition for production. Before now, electricity in India was epileptic. So if you go and site a factory there, which means, of course, you're likely to pay more for diesel and the rest of it to run a factory. But now, India is very competitive in terms of energy supply. And therefore, this is an attraction for investment. So nobody will move his money to an ecosystem that there is no guarantee for profit. And one of the issues that we are going to look out for in terms of this is the cost of energy, because that's huge on the impact. You know, there are some businesses in Nigeria who are not even on the national grid at all.
Is that possible?
Oh, yes.
Of course, yes.
Oh, yes. I'm not sure Cadbury has ever connected to the national grid. They are running on diesel.
Black oil.
And that's massive.
And you pay for it.
They're paying. And so you can imagine why the cost of goods and services are that high. So with this environment created in India, and of course you also know that India in the last 8 years had lifted over 150 million out of poverty.
Wow.
And they are doing better than China. Oh yes, because as we speak, the Chinese don't have plenty of money in their hands as people in India. So it would just be right for somebody to move your business to that environment and then take advantage of all the beautiful things that the government of Narendra Modi has put in place.
Fantastic. Big one.
And don't forget it's India election year also. In the next 6 weeks, we'll be talking about who become the next president
six
in India.
weeks.
Yes, election. The biggest democracy
they are
in
there
the
already.
world. 1 billion people are expected to vote in the next 6 weeks. So that's massive and huge.
And it's still the same election year for the U.S.
Oh, yes.
What
But they are preceding the U.S.
What an exciting year. Still on the paper, ITC plans big to expand food delivery business. Now they're looking at food trucks, moving towards food trucks, delivery business, online platforms, and how to deliver the essentials. Now this is a company that has done stuff in the food industry. Now they're moving to food delivery. So not just coming to eat and come buy takeaway. They're moving towards online delivery. You buy online, they deliver to you. And also finished foods, raw foods. Could this be just because of profit margin alone, or making life easier for the people?
You're looking at profit. It's not just profit margin. It's
Because
more.
many times,
It's
many
value.
times that's
It's
what
value
businesses
added.
do.
It's a chain. If you play in one particular sector, you remain there. If you expand, you make more profit. You create more jobs. At the end
Profit-driven, hence.
Of course, yes, it's profit-driven. You don't leave that particular thing and just play in your corner and somebody else plays. So if you can increase your value chain in whatever industry you're playing, the better for you.
Yeah, but also don't forget that the models for businesses are changing globally. Now you're having a generation of people who don't want to go to the market to go and shop as usual. And so a lot of glut is happening in the retail lines also. So what do you see? Online trade is booming. I was in Morocco that day and I visited one chap who told me all he's doing is that he's sourcing chemical from all the old places and delivering to people. So people are not coming to the market. So you wait for people to come and buy food. Now what do you see in our generation? They stay on the phone and just place an order. And if this model continue, what do you see? Delivery will become very lucrative. And there is no better time for people to invest in logistics business than now.
Correct.
Because things are changing. And if you must meet up with the demands of your client base, you must have to up your game. And therefore, you will need more hands to be able to play in that industry.
All right, next is business standard. India feels the heat of West Asia conflicts. This is something that has hit India so hard. And I don't know why it's just India, because there are other countries there that are supposed to feel the heat from the conflict going on. But why India? Could it be because of the population? Could it be the reason why all the business is going on in India is going on? Because they are worse hit. And I'm wondering why they are worse hit. Yeah,
there are two ways to look at India. and the proximity
Yes.
to the Middle East. You see, Indians are everywhere. You know, like we say in Nigeria, if you get to a village and you don't see an Igbo man, you better have to look for a way to go or pack out, because that must be a ghost city.
Correct.
So they're everywhere. So such is India today, really. There's no part of the globe where things are doing well you will not see India. And now you also know that the way India is wired today by Modi is the fact that it's either you are a citizen of India or a citizen of another place. What that means is that if you are an Indian citizen, wherever you work, the Indian government take your tax. So you have to pay tax home. Now that means money for India. So if there's crisis, what do you think?
There'll be worse hit.
There'll be worse hit, because money will not be flowing in as it should be. So they will pay more for whatever conflict that is happening around. And that is why, really, for me, the world needs to sit down to negotiate a whole lot of things so that we can get off all this trouble and fighting and fusing, which really do not add value to human beings.
Okay, still on the paper, business standard. Tesla's localization story. India versus China deal. What's going on? So first and foremost, Tesla is going through issues, competition issues, which is one of the reasons why this story talks about how they have crashed their prices despite production costs, despite the prices across board in the US, wherever. They've crashed it so much, and it's due to competition. Have you heard about any electric EV vehicles, from, that's not Tesla? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. For those that are wondering, the question should be where the prices really crashed. It's when you enjoy monopoly, you fix price, you fix it, you come to me. But as we speak, Tesla is not the #1 EV. There's another vehicle somewhere in China, we won't call their name because we are not being paid by them. But as we speak, they have taken over the market. So Tesla is not #1, Tesla is not #2. And to make matters worse, they are producing high quality luxury cars that are well affordable, not just to China, to other markets. So what do you think Tesla will do if you were to be the CEO?
You want to keep playing.
You have to play. And you look for another market.
If not, you're muscled out.
You look for another market that can compete with China, and that is India.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you recently, the visit of the Trade Secretary from the US to China, this issue were on the front burner in that conversation. And we're saying, no, China, slow down on your capacity to produce EVs, because that will create a global problem. And I remember on the Souq's program 2 weeks ago, I was saying to him that, look, the truth of the matter is that nobody can go to anywhere and tell anybody how to live his life. The only way to survive is that you must create a very compelling argument. Otherwise, you work out a new strategy that will deliver good for you. And I think this is what Tesla is trying to do, because you are looking at it as competition. So why can you come and tell me and say you are doing a research on me that I am under-taxing my company so that it can become competitive? What is your business about that? So I think this is where nations need to actually wise up, especially those part of African nations. Don't need to necessarily take in hook, line, and sinker some of these suggestions from the branchy woods. We need to be able to sit down and think and say, how can we make value out of every crisis or trade disputations around us? And then we look for newer markets. So rather than have to rely on the old friends, you create new allies. Because what is permanent is interest.
Correct.
Every other thing is in a state of flux.
Okay, so we're on to economic times. Startups shuffle top deck play to ace long-term profitability game. Now, it's simply saying that there's a new gang of companies that are quickly rising to the top of the market, as over 12 new ventures have appointed new CEOs. Wow. This happened in the space of just 12 months. Profitability is the watchword here. Now, how are I saw this, headline, and I'm like, how are new companies seemingly outdoing the old ones?
It's all about collaboration. Old companies started from the scratch. They do everything by themselves. They employ by themselves. They sort material by themselves. They do logistics by themselves. They deliver by themselves. They manufacture by themselves. But if you see what is happening now, we have a whole lot of collaboration. I don't need to start. Some companies don't even look for customers. Another company does the sorting for customers.
And send them
So
to you.
it's all about collaboration. And that is where business is heading to. Everybody is playing at a particular niche and supporting the next person. So that competition is not like what it used to be before.
But one has to understand how that strategy would work, because I know in Nigeria here, when you do everything, it's kind of like, we call it a monopoly.
Yeah, but look at it this way. You see, recently we saw some companies move out of Nigeria, and a lot of people were blaming it on government policies and the rest of it. And this is because most of the time we are too sentimental in analyzing issues here. What's happening is business models are changing. The way nations compete are not the same anymore. Now, those days it was something that was in vogue. You have a very big company, big house, infrastructures everywhere, huge production line. All these issues were costing money because of maintenance. And that's actually eating away your profitability. Now, when you see the current business model that people are operating, you discover that they are not actually putting this big, gigantic structure in place.
Quote and unquote hardware.
Yeah, so people are just, of course, running their business, multi-billion-dollar business from a room. And like Chuck says, it's just about collaboration.
True.
I remember the last time the TSMC CEO, in the early days of China rockets and drone flying over Taiwan, and they asked him, what happened if suddenly that China take over Taiwan? He said, yes, China can take over Taiwan, but they cannot take over the semiconductor market, because the semiconductor market is not in Taiwan. It's a real-time business in the factories where the semiconductors are needed. So all they do is that they write the codes and from their office there and send to the company who needs the semiconductor, and from there they are producing. So they don't need a big factory. So these models are changing, and of course, with the coming of AI, a whole lot has been revolutionized in the whole world. And I think the laggards are the one really paying the big price now. So if you don't adopt technology, of course, it's either you will have to sink, but for you to swim, you must embrace technology. And most of these big guys are not tech savvy. And so it's the tech savvy guys that are actually making the day as we speak.
Reminds me of BlackBerry, but Nokia woke up. So still on the...
Are you sure they are still awake?
Nokia was bought.
Nokia woke up.
No, they were bought.
It's the brand name we know. But they're
Nokia
still in business.
Nokia is no longer in business.
They woke up.
They didn't wake up. Microsoft bought Nokia. Have you forgotten?
But they're still Nokia.
No, that is just the name.
That's what I'm saying. It's the name I'm calling. So, still on the paper, Elon Musk defers his much-hyped India visit due to, and I quote, heavy Tesla obligations. Now, I'm going to ask, could this have to do with the price reduction that we just talked about Tesla vehicles in China due to stiff competition? Why is this? Again, if we look at it again, because if you see Elon Musk is looking all sad and unhappy, like there's something going on that's not profiting him, which I doubt strongly.
When you see Elon Musk, you know he's a dramatist. Whatever he's doing, it's when it has to do with him personally, he's doing it for a purpose.
Of course.
So he's either playing for the media or he's playing for something. So forget about whether he's playing for something. He knowing fully well that his action is going to trigger a market up, down, somewhere. So let's just watch and see what's going to come out from this particular action is going to take.
Awesome. We'll keep watching. Tesla, India, China. Let's see. So on to business polls. Production crisis shut down 30 fish export companies. 30. Now, this is more from India, in the city of Bangladesh, Chattogram to be precise. Due to financial constraints, escalating operational costs, strong challenges that have to do with money. I'm thinking, how can 30 companies, 30 businesses how does it affect the economy?
Oh, that's massive on the economy. And again, it's also for us to also look at it, to also, especially many of us in Nigeria who feel that our case is the worst. And therefore, we don't even want to try. So companies are folding everywhere because really, economy is not smiling globally. Yesterday, we were in a class and I was telling my son, and I said, guy, I want to know how wealthy you are. And I asked him, just plug your monthly income on a particular site and see how rich you are. And by the time he plugged it, he was around 1.2% of the richest people in the whole world. And I said, how does this make you feel? And he said, oh, wow. And I said, that is what it is. There are a whole lot of people who are not as rich as you are, but you are thinking that you are worse off, maybe because you are not exposed to what is happening. So companies are folding because the business models are fast changing, tastes changing. The way the lifestyle of people are changing. And with this, of course, traditional businesses sure will have to go down. And I think this is what is happening. And we have to really open up. And as they say, once one door closes, another doors are opening. So which means there are other businesses opening. I remember some time ago when a chap was speaking to us and I was asking a question on the future of work in the fourth industrial revolution. And he says, technology is going to take away 25 million jobs, but it will only create 15 million in its place.
And AI will take away even more jobs. Thank you so much, Dr. Dahosa. Thank you, Chooks John Rogers. That's it for us today on Souq Business Landscape, where we look at business headlines from across the world. My name is Iken Namba. Join us same time tomorrow for another captivating, points chosen headlines from around the world. See you tomorrow.